Hi, this is Shyamal Chandra for Longtail News episode 1 of 2026, and the topic today is humanoid robotics. Now, I was watching the CES 2026 previews and keynotes from different people around YouTube and other places, and I was really excited about the possibilities that humanoid robotics can bring to everyone, including us. And this is some sensational work they've been putting up. The demos that you see on X.com and other places have robotics doing kung fu, hitting watermelons that are very high in the air. Then they're dodging all sorts of punches, and when they're punching in a boxing arena. Furthermore, there's all sorts of other more practical usages, like cleaning the toilet and cleaning the bathroom, which are more task specific than anything. Now, what's the key goal here that we've learned from humanoid robotics, is that the price is still really high if you get all those cool features that you couldn't get earlier, and then now they're available to companies to create amazing products, and with all these mix and match and the ability to do 360-degree turns on their limbs, like Boston Dynamics does. This is sensational work. I mean, this is going to be revolutionary. If someone can come with a killer app or 1, 2, 3 using these humanoid robotics. Now, what do I think about the future of robotics? I think it's still a mixed card. They have to work really hard to provide enough value, considering you're paying so much money for that humanoid robotic. And what if someone picks it up and steals it? These are obvious things that they've talked about in the past. Humanoid robotics, like they had the little Oreo and the little robots like the Asimo in the past from Sony. Really cool things, really good potential, but they can be picked up and stolen very easily. So most of the time they were used for things like playing soccer and RoboCup, and that's really sad. For them, their initial goal was to have them be used by the elderly, by kids, to train them how to use a precursor to getting pets. This is where there's such a big opportunity. If you look at the Tickle Me Elmo and those digital pets that you could have on a little game pad or Game Boy type of interface in the past, is sensational. And you know what's the most amazing thing is that now with the humanoid robotics, you can do amazing stuff. You can cook, you can you can fry, you can serve ice cream, you can do all sorts of stuff. But is that really worth if you look at it from the Unity robotics point of view, on robot shop price is roughly 40 plus $1,000 per robot. So you're going to use a 40 plus robot to serve ice cream, get the ice cream from the ice cream thing, and then give it to you. Now that seems kind of unreasonable. So you have to think about what are there something that has to be there. Now the first thing that comes to mind is enterprise, or very big, like if you're doing some sort of manual labor, constructing a car, constructing chips, constructing something of very high value, that very high cost, like gold mining or something, steel mining, so going places where humans cannot be killed if they have robots instead, and where losing a bunch of robots is still worth it compared to losing human life. And if they can be teleoperated, that's even better. They don't have to rely on autonomous AI without any human intervention. They can just rely on teleoperation. There's so many things that it opens up. First of all, if you look at it, there's so many ethical issues. If you look at the old movie from Roger and Me from Michael Moore, he talks about all these workers in the GE factories losing their jobs to robots, or losing their job to foreign plants. This is a big problem, and this is a big problem at that time with the previous CEO Roger. He never can get to at the end of the movie. And then speed it up to in the future. Now you have things like people can use humanoid robots to do like some terrorist attack. So you have to put some guardrails on what people can do with humanoid robotics. It would be very scary if that happens. Like a Columbine, Bowling for Columbine, where he talks about the culture. Everything has to be in there. The culture of robotics, how you should use robotics. The three laws of robotics from uh, Isaac Asimov. If you remember from those that movie from with Will Smith, where he talks about these things, and then he talks about all these humanoid robotics. This is a precursor to today's day, where we have these real robotics that can actually do tasks, fine granular tasks, with very good accuracy, without any loss of many things. This is a sensational time to be alive. You can imagine the future having 10 robots working on cooking, something very, very large scale, while you're having 100 people for a meal in their backyard. That would be sensational. Scalable cooking. Scalable cooking, like having top chefs. You just download that key, and then they perform all the top chef, give them all the ingredients, and they turn it into a magnificent scalable feast. So that's what it is. That's the thing with automation. You have to have scalability. You have to have robustness. You have to have you have to have optimization. You have to have something lightweight, and there's more to it than that. But off the top of my head, these are the keys to very good automation. Now, I really think that it's really sensational that people have put these SDKs, SD APIs, and control mechanisms into our domain now. It's all in our favor. Now all we have to do is create amazing demos, amazing products, amazing infrastructure that can withstand. Now, the thing is, this is this toy example of cooking a large scale meal that can scale linearly with the number of robots. Now, just imagine if you're in a grocery store and you want to pack all the stuff really fast. That would be really cool. You would do the humanoid robotics versus a traditional task-specific robotic, like whatever they had in the past with arms, KUKA robotics, or something else. And you have to do, what's the difference between the two? Is the price higher? Can we use it on more generic situations? And how much weight can it handle? How fine dexterity it has? Is it hard tuned for that particular task? So in the future, you can imagine like these processes they have for candies, processes they have for making pulse pulse indicators, or some tiny little watch from Switzerland that has a bunch of gears in it. That would be sensational. To have a robot that does it instead of the person. This is some sensational work. We're using pencil and paper, machine learning, and this is some amazing work. So that is my thoughts on humanoid robotics. Now, one more thing I wanted to ask is, do you really think that humanoid robotics can catch in the next 10 years? I definitely think so. If you have enough creative people and they sit in a room together, they come out with ideas, and they come out with ideas where there's a return on investment that's very high, then that makes sense. Like, in the past, there were lots of ideas, but most of those ideas did not garner enough return on investment. So people lose money, but you have to try certain things while you're trying other things to make the whole thing robotic. So you can imagine in the future, and this is another fantasy island world, that everyone has a pizza delivery through a humanoid robot who's driving a car, a regular car, where they're grandfathering or reverse engineering the car. No matter what car you give them, the humanoid robot can drive the car and deliver the pizza to your doorstep. Now that is sensational, and we have all the tools right now to do that. Okay, once they appear mass produced and lowered the price. This is sensational time to be alive. You can do amazing things. And pizza, not only pizza, you can do drugs, pharmacy drugs. You can do so many other things. And this is what so many people have been talking about. Groceries. You can do big wholesale deliveries like Costco and Sam's Club. It is the most wonderful time to be alive. Type of business clientele for different providers. So that is what I think is going to be the big killer. You have to find that large dividend for the people who are creating this. And now you compare this with the previous generation of people like that were interested in the ground fleet, task-specific robots. Now, putting humanoid robotics versus tasks like the ground robots that go on the sidewalk, and then now they have ones that go up the stairs. Okay, this is so cool. You can be on a 10-story building and you can get your Mazio's pizza or your DoorDash or your StubHub delivery. It's so cool. But what if you had a humanoid robot that gave it to you? Now, the thing is that you have to be scared about, what if the humanoid robot kills you? They have to have guardrails to prevent a humanoid robot, if it's teleoperated or if it's not teleoperated, to not do that. It might get hit in the body and it does not know how to react and it hits it really hard. So there's all sorts of issues. You have to parameter sweep everything and remove all these doubts and make humanoid robotics successful. I'm telling you, this is so. You're looking at low hanging fruit. That if you conceive a demo or product from that can deliver such innumerable value to the customers, customers will be coming back like, oh, I can talk to a humanoid robot. This is just so cool. And other people are going to be left in the dust if you can deliver with something, a project business plan where there's, a balanced budget and a balanced profit. This is so. This is you can see all these issues coming up, but you don't have to look at these issues. Just parameter sweep and terminate the bad stuff. Okay. And also another thing comes up, well, what about waterproofing them? You have to make them IPX 8 or 9 underwater. What if they have to deliver to a boat? When they have to swim? So this is so cool. Places where robotics has never gone before, for humanoid robotics. This is cool. So you should definitely look into this. This is Shyamal Chandra for episode number 1 of 2026 of Longtail News. Thank you and good luck with your humanoid robotic counterparts. Bye-bye.